Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
From the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Well, guys, wow. There's a lot to go over, and tomorrow I'm going to Contact in the Desert. Oh, my hair. So I wanted to go over some things. I wanted to react to Tim Pool because we're not going to have a live stream on Friday. And I guess I want to start off right away and say that I am currently suspended from Twitter. Guys, I'm guilty. I did it. I used a 3-letter acronym. I told somebody to know your stuff. I told somebody to know your stuff, and I got a 12-hour suspension from Twitter. So that's why you've seen no posts from me, why I was unable to join any speaker panels or do anything in the last all day today. Yeah, which I think is kind of hilarious. Because using a 3-letter acronym that could have multiple possible meanings and getting literally suspended immediately from that is about as small potatoes as you could possibly do on social media. It's about as small potatoes as you could possibly imagine. What I wanted to start off with tonight is this clip from Tim Pool about just the abject harassment that I've received over the last 2 years. I mean, I've gotten literal death threats, not made up ones like Ross Coulthart, real death threats. I've had people scam me in using felony scams. I've had people claim that, falsely claim that I'm a sexual assaulter. I mean, the list just goes on forever. And I cry about it almost never because that's just the way of the world. So to get, and by the way, I've reported all that stuff, and almost never does it ever get actioned. I pretty much always get a thing back from Twitter that says there was no violation in this post. One time, it was my phone number. My phone number was in a post. They said there's no violation. People are posting my personal phone number. But if you use the wrong 3-letter acronym, you get a 12-hour ban from Twitter. It is straight up clown world situation, guys. But honestly, it's my fault. It's my fault. I got jebaited, and I fell for the bait. So, no big deal. Now, let's go right into Tim Pool. I had to make a new fake account just so that I could literally use X and look at X right now because I actually can't open X up right now, even on my main account. Can't even open it up right now. It pops up with something about, I don't know, crazy. How come this isn't showing up? Oh, because it's on my other webpage. What's going on here? Huh. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out why this isn't showing up for me to share. Why can't I share this? Share screen. It's just not there. It's just not listed as one of the options to share the screen. Wow. I might not even be able to share the screen. Okay, what am I going to do here? Okay, sorry, backup plan. Here we go. 1 second. Apparently, StreamYard does not let you share a screen from a different browser. So that's why I couldn't share. I'm just saving it real quick. Here we go. Okay, here's the video.
I will say this, and this is not to get to the validity of the videos being real. I honestly don't know. I'm skeptical. But I've been getting, as soon as you mentioned, like, we're going to interview you again about this stuff, because there is one more story. This is the science administrator for the Trump administration saying that we have the technology to manipulate time and space, which I'll talk to you in a second. So these stories pop up, and I'm like, all right, let's talk to Ashton about what he's been working on. I started getting inundated by a bunch of people, like angry, furious. We've had flat earthers. We did a show on the Culture War where we had a flat earther, a geocentrist, and a standard physicist debate these issues. And they asked us to pull up papers and pull up these videos. Nobody messaged me. Nobody tweeted at me. Nobody attacked me. But when you posted that we were going to talk about this, I got slammed by a bunch of people saying that I was a fraudster, that I was propping up insanity and conspiracies and lies. And I'm like, what do you talk? We have a whole show called Tales from the Inverted World that just talks about Sasquatch and UFOs and ghosts. Why is this one issue so heated that I have to believe the
So right there, let me just react to the first part of that. I intentionally leaked that I was going on Tim Pool, intentionally jeopardized going on Tim Pool, because I wanted Tim Pool to see how unhinged and insane the people that have been harassing me are. They are extremely, extremely mentally unwell. And again, I don't mean this as like a joke. I mean, they're literally mentally unwell, unhinged individuals who have decided to spend their entire lives trying to convince themselves I'm some sort of evil mastermind or something like that. For the people that are saying, don't make any more enemies, stop pissing people off. No, I'm about to double down right now. I'm actually about to double down right now even more. I keep telling you what I'm doing. It's almost more important than free energy that we wake up these brainwashed idiots out of the slumber that they've been in their entire lives. So I am literally going to shock these people into a situation where they enter psychosis. That is my plan. I am going to shock them into being in the insane asylum in a padded room with a straitjacket. That's the plan, and that's what I'm going to do. And to be 100% clear, when I said I was going to destroy the lives of everybody who's been trying to attack me and falsely debunk real military videos, yes, that is going to happen. So let me pull this up right now. And then we'll finish that. Wait. God, this thing sucks. Move ad. Okay. Somebody made me aware of this morning. This is one of my prime haters right here, named Grat Lavant. He has spent the last 2 years making up fake stuff about me on social media. He claims to be a student of FOIA. I had no idea who he is, never heard of him before all this. Never met him before. He has literally no reason whatsoever to be attacking me. He has no idea who I am, knows nothing about me whatsoever. When MH370X cultists contact you via your non-public work email, referencing your wife by name and threatening to contact your employer regarding your online activity that's in opposition to the MH370X narrative, you know you're dealing with some messed up individuals. So what am I reading here? First of all, I have never told anybody to harass anyone, ever. Me telling you I'm going to expose you or I'm going to destroy your life, that's something I'm going to do to you. In fact, that's something you are doing to yourself. You are doing that to yourself. You are the one who's at fault for that, not me. The fact that you can't tell that the MH370 videos are real is not my problem. That's a you problem. That's a you problem. I've told nobody to harass anyone. And when I look at this actually in context, where's the threat? What exactly is the threat here being referenced? Also, I don't see any email. Where's the evidence of this so-called threat? Oh, he addresses that. Somebody down here asks, hey, can you document it? And he says, oh, I can't show it because it would impact the law enforcement proceedings. That's not how that works. Nobody's going to jail for saying that you're a piece of shit and they're going to contact your employer if you stop lying on the internet. Nobody's going to jail for that. There's no crime being committed. You don't need to protect somebody that upset you by emailing you. If this really happened, which I believe that he got an email, just post it. The reason why Grant's not posting the email is because it's not at all the way he's misconstruing it. These people are mentally disturbed. Grant Lavant is a mentally ill individual who believes that he's some sort of victim. He's the victim of this. This is just straight up emotional manipulation, 100%. The reason why this guy's getting backlash is because he's been lying about me on the internet for 2 years straight. And now that all the lies have fallen apart, the web has fallen apart, the videos are real, the videos are Gorgon stare. Now this guy wants to be a victim when the crows are coming home to roost, chickens are coming home to roost. This guy wants to pretend like he's a victim now. No, brother. Grant, you are the farthest thing from a victim. I've got recordings from you on an X space where you were attacking me about how I'm a grifter and a liar and a con man. Brother, everything you guys are doing is of your own free will, and all of the backlash you're getting is because of you putting your opinions out there. No one's making you attack me. No one's making you put your stupid opinions out there. You're not doing any research. You're not doing any investigation. You're just putting your dumb, uneducated opinions on the internet. And here's the thing about opinions. They're like assholes. They all look the same and everybody's got them. So let's finish up this Tim Pool thing, because it's actually so fucking unhinged for these people to claim to be victims while they're literally attacking and harassing me nonstop, making up fake shit about me. It's to the degree where Tim Pool's even wondering, why the hell are these people acting this way? This is so irrational. Why are these people acting like they have skin in the game? Why are they acting like if those videos are real, it's the end of their life? That's not normal to act that way.
X guys claim it's debunked. I'm like, it's fun to talk about. But I gotta,
and this is good to point out as well. I don't fucking care what the answer to the videos are. I've never cared. I've gotten certain aspects wrong. I've just wanted to know the truth. That's it. The people that have been attacking me have never been trying to figure out the truth. Not even for 1 minute in their lives have they been trying to figure out the truth. Their sole goal the entire time has been to try to get people to stop looking at the videos. That is their only goal. Stop looking at the videos. Stop investigating the videos. Don't look into them. None of the debunkers have ever provided anything productive towards the case, ever. And so the last thing I want to say about it is this. Stop being a piece of shit that tries to tear other people down. This community, MH370X, is the best community on the internet. Anybody that says otherwise is a fucking liar. We are doing our own thing. We are researching quantum mechanics. We are figuring out the science and physics that the government has kept hidden from us. We are producing real content, unique content. You guys are obsessed with us. That's your content. Your content is us. Your content is hating on us. Go make your own fucking content. Go do your own thing. Oh, that's too hard. It's easy to be a piece of shit and just put your dumb, uneducated opinions on the internet. It's hard to actually do something. It's hard to actually try. It's hard to be brave and actually go against the grain. These people just want everything easy.
a wave of hate and attacks for even entertaining this. And you know, my view is, you know, they've got a video of an orb flying over Colombia. We had Rep. Eric Burleson, a congressman, have recently had hearings on UAPs where he was told by some aerospace physicist engineer that there are 4 species of aliens. Again, I'm not saying I believe any of it, but when members of Congress are having these conversations, I'm like, hey, let's talk about this space and what people think may be happening. The backlash I found pretty interesting.
Oh man. Well, so I just got to tell you, I intentionally leaked that because I wanted you to see that. I want the world to see what people are trying to do to me behind the scenes, because like you said, people don't do this for Bigfoot or flat earth or whatever else.
Yeah.
I'm out here just trying to tell people we've got teleportation is real and trying to explain it. I'm trying to solve a cold case of a missing airplane, and people are acting like I'm, you know, the worst thing on the earth. I'm like, the fact that there's this massive disinformation campaign to try to get people to like believe the videos are fake and not look at them, because the more you look at them, the more they're obviously real. Like that should really tell people something. That's really it, right? That was the big line, is that they're trying to get people to not look at the videos, because the more you look at the videos, the more you realize they're obviously real. That's their play. It's obvious, clear as day. Anybody that was a open-minded skeptic, they wouldn't care what narrative we're pushing. They would be trying to build their own narrative based on the evidence and what the evidence shows. That's not what they're trying to do. They cherry pick and take evidence out of context, and they ignore everything that counters their evidence. They are the literal flat earthers. No offense to flat earthers. You're allowed to believe whatever you want. I only call them flat earthers because that's the logic that they use. The logic that they use is that any evidence that proves that their debunks are wrong is fake. It's just fake. Like, oh, these cloud pictures were used to make the videos. Like, that's my favorite one. Oh, do I even have it? Hold on. I think I have it. I'm realizing I can't even open my account up to show you guys the images. Here we go. Here it is. So people will say, oh, these cloud photos, prove that the videos are fake. And then you go, but wait a minute. The cloud photo API from the website itself right here that you're looking at on the right side of your screen right here. Wait, where is it? StreamYard. Why are you like this? Here's the API right here. That API right there says the images were only uploaded October 25th, 2014. So let me just repeat that. When Mick West or any of the debunkers ever claimed that there were some cloud pictures used to make Gorgon stare whammy, you just say, wait a minute, the cloud pictures that weren't uploaded until October 25th, 2014, 5 months after the videos were online. Then you just say, do you understand how time works? Because if you understand how time works, you understand that this date right here, wait, that's not the right date. This one down here. This date right here means there's no way in hell that these cloud photos could have been used to make the videos or to make the whammy. I mean, that's after the videos were already on the internet. So the thing that kind of is weird to me, so if you're somebody out there going, hey, is this Ashton guy lying? People are telling me that there are cloud pictures on the internet that perfectly match the whammy footage, the Gorgon stare Air Force whammy footage. And respect to Lua, I see her in the chat here. She's been, attacking the credibility of the photos. You don't need to do more than this. This is it right here. This is it. You don't need to say, oh, the photos were photoshopped or anything. There it is. They just don't even predate the videos. That's it. There's no evidence other than this of those photos existing anywhere on the internet before this date. So, I don't know. But you'll never see debunkers ever say this. Debunkers will never say this. Redditors will never point this out. I know because I look at the Reddit every once in a while. They never point this out. People say the clouds match, and they never point out, oh, but the dates are, after the videos. They never say that. And this is where people come to me, and it's funny because they come to me and say, this debunker from Reddit told me this. And I go, did they forget to tell you this? And then they realize that these people are all just lying. So this was the point of showing the Tim Pool situation, because I wanted Tim Pool to see as well that these people are all just completely full of shit. Just completely full of shit. The people attacking me, the people debunking the videos, like, I don't think they're ops. I don't think they're actually CIA. I just think that it goes to show how mentally messed up humans are. Humans are just messed up in the head, man. We are that way. It's nature. War Ranch LLC, thank you for this donation, brother. Appreciate you. Leslie Wisdom, Truth Teeny Time. We have your back, Ashton. I haven't had a martini in a while, so if you guys see me at Contact in the Desert this weekend, hit me up. Amir, have seen so many ad hominem attacks. It's obvious there's a serious tactic. Their arguments are extremely flimsy. Yes, and if you poke at their attacks. Thank you very much, Amir, for that huge donation. And so just to show a few more examples, or actually let's finish up this clip. Coulthart, News Nation anchor, or you know, a journalist, quote unquote, email Scott Roeder, the guy that did that story about the Las Vegas aliens or whatever it was, the tall aliens, emailed him because the guy put a post up on social media, supported me, emails him and says that he makes up stories about how my followers are sending him death threats and I'm the worst person in the world. That's an anchor on News Nation doing that.
No way.
They were trying to say I'm a grifter. I'm not selling anything. They tried to say I'm crazy. I learned quantum mechanics. They try to say I'm an alcoholic. It's crazy. I have actually people in my family that suffer with that.
Well, they're not very good at.
I didn't even realize, Tim, I should have pushed back right there. I actually should have just read the letter. I'm going to read the letter that Ross Coulthart sent to Scott Roeder right now, live on stream. Because Tim was like, no way. I can't believe it's not news that Ross Coulthart sent Scott Roeder this letter about me. He made up fake shit about me, literally made up. Ross Coulthart, News Nation UFO journalist, not really a journalist, made up fake shit about me, made up a fake death threat to try to vilify me and this community. 100% real. I'm going to read it right to you directly from the post that I got it from Scott Roeder. And by the way, Scott Roeder was blackballed. Scott Roeder was blackballed by Ross Coulthart for me revealing this message, which is crazy because Ross Coulthart didn't platform Scott anyway. And Scott was thinking that Ross liked him. And I told Scott, like, Ross is just using you, dude. 100% just using you. Hi, Scott. If you ever want to have a conversation with me before you entered into a public debate where you support Ashton Forbes's false theory in conflict with me about MH370, I would have always been happy to do that. I don't know if you realize how viciously he's been slurring me for questioning his claim the videos he champions is a satellite feed. So right here, I want to point out, when Ross wrote this letter, I had already shown that it was Gorgon's Stare. When Ross wrote this letter to Scott, I had already for a week shown that it was not a satellite video and that it was Gorgon's Stare. So was Ross either not aware of that or is he lying in this letter? What do you guys think? Because now he's talking about satellite feeds, but I've been saying it's a drone with Gorgon's Stare looking down. And the crazy part is, look at how this is only one paragraph in, and he's already victimizing himself. Ross Coulthart's already victimizing himself, saying that I was slurring him. Guys, go look at the letter that I wrote after Ross Coulthart attacked me on News Nation. Ross Coulthart attacked me on News Nation, lied on News Nation, claimed that the Gorgon Stare whammy was made by cloud pictures on the internet, which I just disproved just a few minutes ago. I disproved it 100%. He was lying about me, and in response, I didn't even attack him at all. In response, I gave the most level-headed, chill response that I've ever given. Go find it on my YouTube channel or on my Twitter. It's out there just from like 2 weeks ago. So for Ross to say that is how I responded is crazy, dude. Totally crazy. Let's keep going. As someone who counts you as a friend, Ross has never done anything for Scott. And he's saying, as someone who counts you as a friend, this is the kind of thing that you say to people when you're wanting to determine, you're doing a loyalty test to them. I count you as my friend. Are you loyal to me or are you not loyal to me? If you're loyal to me, you won't support that Ashton Forbes guy. Like, that's fucking insane, bro. That's insane shit. You're trying to draw battle lines where, like, you're with me or against me over some videos on the internet that might show a plane disappearing. None of this is normal at all. The way these people act is not normal. If Ross is not a deep state stooge, then why is he acting like one? Why is everything he do acting like one? As someone who counts you as a friend, I also doubt that you realize he's going to use your expert support to further his claims, to further push a narrative which is attacking me. What narrative is attacking Ross Coulthart? To the point where I'm actually being threatened with my life. That's just a straight up lie. That's just a straight up lie. And I didn't use Scott's thing. In fact, Scott supporting me isn't really that big of a boost at all. I don't know why Ross even acted like this. I just thought it was just a nice guy doing a nice thing. It's not like I thought Scott's analysis was like the be-all, end-all, proves the video's real. I didn't take it like that at all, which is why I don't understand this message. And then to say that he's being threatened with his life is easily the most dishonest thing ever. Ross Coulthart's not being threatened with his life by anybody from MH370X. I'm sure you don't know. And the way he keeps saying, I'm sure you don't know this. I'm sure you don't know that. This is also manipulative shit that people who psychologically manipulate people do. I'm sure you don't know this. And then the next thing he says isn't even factual. It's just an opinion he has. I'm sure you don't know that the supporters of that unhinged man have threatened me with violence and death. Direct quote. Because he has incited them to the false belief that I am part of some government cover-up. Brother, Ross Coulthart, if you are not part of some government cover-up, I don't know how to distinguish the difference at this point. I'm reading a letter that you are being as dishonest and manipulative, emotionally manipulative as possible. And we're only 3 paragraphs in. We're only 3 paragraphs in right now. So if he's not working for the government, then why is he acting like it? Why is all of his behaviors 100% consistent with him being a government stooge? Do you know what real journalists do? They reach out to me. I've spoken to real journalists. And what do? They talk to you so they can learn about you, learn what you are. Ross Coulthart has never, ever, ever reached out to me or even replied. He absolutely refuses to even listen to me because his mind is not capable of accepting the truth. It's not capable of it. And he's going to have a mental break if he has to. Is the way I think it's going to go down. I don't dismiss the possibility that MH370 was downed in a U.S.-led cover-up at all. Okay, then what's the problem? I just don't think Forbes has the evidence he thinks he has. I'm sorry. Are there other military videos on the internet? Depict 2 military videos depicting the same event? What do you mean? I don't have the evidence I think I have? What evidence do I not have? I'm staring at Gorgon stare whammy capability. Where is it? Here it is. I'm staring at Gorgon stare whammy capability, and you're telling me I don't have the evidence I think I have? No, I'm pretty sure I have Sierra Nevada Corporation dead to rights. I'm pretty sure I have the United States government, SOCOM, and JSOC, and the CIA dead to rights. And I'm pretty sure I figured out that the Air Force has produced what we would call anti-gravity plasma orbs that utilize free energy. So, no, I think my evidence is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I'm going to leave this up while I read it. I was going to publicly respond in detail to the Ashton Forbes, but his attacks on me became so scary. Guy, his attacks on me became so scary. This is, are you serious? His attacks on me became so scary. Can someone find the scariest attack that I did to Ross Coulthart? I would really love to see what this scary attack is. Again, guys, we have literally people making up fake shit about me. We got Ross Coulthart manipulating people, making up fake shit about me. There's a whole thread that I've got over here that maybe I should just pull up. Do you want to know what's scary? What's scary? It's so scary, guys. This thread is fucking scary. Oh, wait, where is it? This is scary. This thread is scary. This thread is filled with mentally unwell individuals who have built in their head a psychosis in which I am a supervillain. This is scary. These people have convinced themselves that they need to stop me. They've convinced themselves that I'm not just a disinformation agent. I'm somebody that's harming them. These people believe that I'm actually harming them. In one of these posts down here, it says, let's see, where is it? Where's the one about how I'm harming them? Let me find that one. I can't remember. Shit. Maybe that's not the exact wording they used. Anyway, if you scroll down this, guys, you will find plenty. Get in touch with all the people Ashton is harassing and do a class action lawsuit to deprive him of all his money. Wow. I mean, this is just, if you go through this, Ross Coulthart is the one claiming that he's being threatened by scary people. Let's just leave it up. Based on my own research, so I decided to go quiet because I was actually getting death threats from people for presuming to challenge his claims. He capitalized his chat. I'm actually going to screenshot this and post this in the Discord. He capitalized his. In fact, I'm just going to show it to you. Oh, shit. I had it up. Fuck. I just clicked something. Now I'm screwed. Hold on. There we go. Can't see it, can you? Okay. Anyway, you can't see it. He capitalized his claims because he's trying to claim that I'm claiming that I'm God. That's the point. So he capitalized his intentionally. That is the most manipulative shit ever. Can you imagine capitalizing his in a message about somebody? This is the detailed response that I prepared based on what I know from my sources. Based on my own research, I am entitled to hold a contrary opinion to him about the authenticity of the videos he relies on, just because I demand on his, okay, I mean, this is, I don't even want to go on this. The irony is Ashton Forbes has actually agreed with me and then changed his claims, presumably to fit his new conspiracy narrative. He's now suggesting it was a system called Gorgon's Stare. So in the same exact letter, with Ross Coulthart says he disproved the claims about satellite video, he's now admitting that he knows my claim is that it's Gorgon's Stare. He's claiming that he knows it. And instead of checking the claim, which is all Ross Coulthart could take 5 minutes, call up an Air Force source, confirm that it's Gorgon's Stare, Ross Coulthart refuses to do that. Ross Coulthart refuses to simply confirm the claim. And instead is deflecting. He's dodging the question, dodging the issue. My view is that Ashton Forbes' claims about the disappearance of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 being caused by advanced technological orbs that teleported the plane through a wormhole or portal are baseless and unsupported by credible evidence. Ross, you're allowed to believe whatever you want, man. You're allowed to believe whatever the hell you want in this world. That's why freedom is great. But to say that it's baseless and not supported by evidence, that's just, I don't know what to really call it. I mean, you're looking at the best evidence ever. There are coordinates in the videos. This evidence would put somebody in prison forever. What's the standard of evidence? If this video is not considered credible evidence, then Ross Coulthart's never done journalism in his whole life. I mean that as a statement of fact. If this is not, this is coming from a guy that pushed a 4-second video of an egg-shaped object and said that it was proof of a crash retrieval program. I shit you not. And he was actually doubled down on it. So the same guy that thinks that this is not credible evidence, 2 videos from 2 different angles, both of military footage that's impossible to fake, that's not credible evidence to Ross Coulthart. This is what I want to say, guys. Stop destroying your careers. Stop destroying your lives. I'm not doing it to you. You are doing it to yourself. Ross Coulthart, you are doing it to yourself. Grant, you are doing this to yourself. All of you people, the guy Joe Lancaster, who was doing a space earlier, apparently, still pretending to have made the videos, which is just totally insane because he was given a chance to tell us if there's anything we should know about the videos. And he could have said, oh, I made these videos to look like Gorgon's Stare. He kind of forgot to mention that. Joe Lancaster is an extremely mentally ill troll who needs to stop LARPing, and he needs to apologize. Just apologize, man. You're a shitty person, and just stop. Like, do you not realize, this is a message to the debunkers out there. This is what I would tell you if I was on that X space with you. I have told you for 2 years that the videos are obviously real. You refuse to accept it. You refuse to accept it and invented a fake narrative where I'm some supervillain that's scamming people, contrary to all evidence, all rational logic and basis. That's a you problem. That's a mental problem that you have. I hope that you get the psychological help that you need. What I want you to understand is that you are the one doing the actions. You are the one destroying your own life. It's not me doing it to you. It's you doing it to you. And I've told you not to do it because I've told you these videos will be proven real. And all the stuff that you've done on the internet is going to come back at you 100-fold. All this shit, all this stuff, all the harassment that you've been doing to me, that's going to come back to you 100-fold. And you're not hidden behind an anonymous name on the internet either. I've told you this. So what I'm telling you once again, that I've already said many, many, many times over, is that your life is going to be destroyed. Your life is going to be destroyed by your own actions. I am totally about free will. If you want to take those actions and destroy your life, that is totally your choice. You are free to do that. I'm not going to stop you. I'm just telling you, don't cry about it later. Don't make posts about how you're some victim, that people are attacking you for your opinions. Stop being a fucking pussy. Stop pretending like you're a victim. And don't you dare later try to say that you're sorry. Don't you dare try to apologize later. Later on, the only thing that's going to happen when you have to accept that you've been the piece of shit, that you are the monster that you always thought that I was, you are going to accept it and you are going to live your life with that sin, with that stain on you for the rest of your life. That's your future, Grant Lavant. That's your future, Ross Coulthart. That's your future, Mick West. That's your future, Corridor Crew. That's your future, Danny Jones. That's your future, Julian Dory. There's absolutely nothing that can stop that from happening at this point. It is 100% set in stone. The only thing you can do now is try to be a better person. That's it. Apologies aren't going to get you there. Just try to be a better person. And I want this clip right here to be the point where you are told unequivocally, after the videos have already been proven to be Gorgon Stare, that those videos are absolutely real. You've been given multiple opportunities to stop doubling down on being a retard, and you chose not to. You chose to be a retard. You chose every bad thing that's going to come your way in the future. That's what you chose, what you wanted. And I hope that those consequences, when they come, act as a lesson for everybody else out there. They act as a lesson to stop trying to be some type of self-righteous, morally superior douchebag. It turns out just because you agree with the government doesn't make you superior to everybody else. It turns out just because you believe with what the science and the experts tell you, that doesn't make you smarter than other people. In fact, it makes you dumber. That's what you're going to learn the very, very hard way. And last thing I'll say on this is that this is just the beginning. If you think it's hard now, if these people think they're being harassed now, which they're obviously not, it's their lives are pretty much over. Like, they think this is bad. What I was telling people, you guys think this is bad? I haven't even been laying into you. I've got 1,200 people watching right now. How many people do you think are going to be watching my stream when there's some proof that the United States government has plasma orbs? There's going to be tens of thousands of people watching these streams. And you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be pulling up my list of all the haters and all the shit they said. And I'm going to be going, these are the morons who are attacking me. Memorize their names. Remember them. In fact, let me just show you a couple examples, okay? I'm just going to show you just a couple examples. Just a couple examples. These are the people saying that our community is harassing them. The people making up fake shit like this. The people like this. Ashton is a genuine psychopath. Crazy enough to show up your place of work. That never happened. Because you told him he's wrong on Twitter. HR wanted me to report him to the FBI because they were afraid he'd do that after belligerently spamming them with emails. That never happened either. He's mad because he knows his job is next. Is it? I still have my job. It's 2 years later. Attempting to buy classified doesn't excuse his 2 IQ getting scammed out of fake documents. Sorry you were caught up in it. He's an animal caught in a trap, lashing out at the nearest thing. Yeah, Maya Benowitz is another mentally ill individual, and I hope she gets the help she needs. I mean, these people are really, really disturbed, man. This is the kind of shit that, by the way, I've dealt with every single day for the last 2 years straight. Every day. Look at the last one. Look at the last one. I paid for a criminal background check on that guy a few months ago and found out he was charged in 2013 for suspicious of sexually abusing an underage family member. He was a quick unfollow after that. Something is seriously wrong with him. By the way, that's a fake account. William Foster, DOD, laid off. That's a completely fake account. These are the people that are the supporters and friends of Ross Coulthart. They are literal. I think Maya Benowitz is literally friends with these people. The people that are claiming that our community is harassing them, this is them, guys. You're looking at them. You're looking at them. This is just a few examples. I have hundreds, literally hundreds of examples like this. I don't show them because I don't feel a need to pretend like I'm a victim all the time, but hundreds of stuff like that. So once again, if you are somebody that doesn't think the videos are real, great. Nobody's making you believe the videos are real. I just strongly recommend you not make up fake things about me and attack me on the line with fake stuff. Because if you make up lies about me and lie about me on the internet, you should not be surprised if you get backlash for it on the internet. When you post on the internet, you are posting your thoughts publicly on a public forum. So just don't cry later. That's all I ask. I told you the videos are real. Your inability to accept them is your problem, not mine. Okay. Let me go back to my post here. Here we go. Okay. Can we stop pretending that, McRaven, Vodal, we figured out all the people that know these videos are real. I just want these people to stop pretending. In fact, let's just say their names again. Admiral William McRaven was the SOCOM commander when MH370 disappeared. We're looking at a special operation. There's no chance William McRaven doesn't know what happened to MH370. General Joseph Vodal was the commander of JSOC. That's like even more beyond special forces. He knows what happened to MH370. The CIA obviously knows also what happened to MH370 as well, because we're looking at 2 classified secret videos of the plane disappearing out of the sky. General Flynn obviously knows as well. And truthfully, I like General Flynn. And my source as well spoke highly of General Flynn, the source, the VPU source. So I like him. People I know out there have different opinions about General Flynn, and I'm open to change my mind if new information comes out. But General Flynn is a smart guy. He knows the videos are real as well, but he's like these guys at the higher levels. They're very good about knowing what they can say and what they can't say. Very good about what they can say and what they can't say. Shout out to everybody in the Rumble chat as well. Thank you. Sorry, Rumble is relatively new, and that's the reason why we don't have a lot of people in Rumble. And big shout out to the Pilled chat. Filter Dog, thank you very much for the can. I appreciate you, man. And thank you, Matt, for being in that chat. Let me hit up a couple more of these donos. Looks like we got a few more here. Dominic, thank you. Ashton, I will have your back this weekend at Contact, and I'll buy you a martini. Sounds good. I don't want people, just quick note for people out there. If you are at Contact in the desert, feel free to come up to me and say hello. Just don't be too weird and stalkery. And also, please don't bring me a drink without me seeing it. I'm not going to drink anything that somebody hands me. So no offense, but if you walk up to me with a drink, there is no chance that I'm going to touch it. So have me come with you when I go check that drink. No offense, but just again, 0% chance I drink a drink that anyone comes and hands me. Levi, they're always crumble and block. Yeah. Blammo. How did they make the supposed image of the collage? I don't know, just Photoshop? I mean, what do you want? The photo pictures, I mean, I just showed you the photo pictures post-date the videos. So I think that answers the question, right? How did they make it? The cloud photos in question are the actual whammy photos. So those photos come from a classified system that somebody put on the internet. They were clearly put on the internet by the intelligence community for this exact purpose, for the exact purpose in which they're being used right now, which is to argue that somebody made Gorgon Stare whammy footage. Let me be clear again. There is 0% chance either video is fake. Zero. Not even a 0.1%. There's no chance either video is fake. There is no way any human being on the face of the earth could have produced Gorgon Stare whammy footage manually. Not possible. That system produces the footage from pictures like that. In fact, the very thing that the debunkers have been arguing, that someone stitched together these photos, blah, 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 that's what Gorgon Stare does. Humans can't do that. And you certainly can't just stitch together a bunch of pictures of clouds like this and make them all together in a perfect collage. Why? Because you're on a moving plane. You're in a moving plane. If you were taking pictures from a moving plane, you wouldn't be able to stitch the photos together because the plane's moving the whole time. But you can if it's a drone looking overhead using whammy footage that's the system is stitching it all together. So hopefully that answers their question. And just once again, the cloud photos post-date the videos. The cloud photos post-date the videos. And if somebody says, well, what about the EXIF data, the metadata on the photos? It actually doesn't even matter what the EXIF data says, because they're not claiming that the photographer made the videos. They're claiming the photographer uploaded the photos on the internet and somebody else downloaded them from the internet. That's the story that's being presented. That story requires the cloud photos to be on the internet before the videos. Absolute requirement. And there's no evidence they were on the internet. Even if you believe the metadata, there's no evidence that the cloud photos were anywhere on the internet. Nowhere. So hopefully that answers that question. I want to be thorough. DD London, thank you for that huge donation. I appreciate it. And thank you for following along. I'm going to try to do a podcast or maybe short clips this weekend while I'm at Contact in the Desert. I'm probably not actually going to listen to much. I bought this thing. It's some Chinese crap. It didn't really cost that much, but I wasn't really sure about like portable camcorders or whatever. So we're going to rock this weekend like a creeper, you know, try to do some interviews or something. We'll see. So if anyone's going to be at Contact in the Desert and they're a cameraman and they want to follow me around and like record stuff, come find me, chat. Come find me. I'll maybe even make it worth your while. Jericho, thank you very much for that donation. Timothy Foster, thank you for that donation. Wow, you guys are going wild tonight. Wyona Riders, 2 videos, Edward Lin in jail, classified, Gorgon Stare deleted from SNC's website, plane on fire, Freescale employees, etc. I mean, no evidence, no credible evidence. I mean, I think we've nailed it. I mean, how much more? You couldn't even expect, realistically, to expect what I've already provided from evidence. I've said who the leaker is. I found the leaker of the videos. If he wasn't the leaker of the videos, the very first thing the debunkers in the government would have done, they would have found Edward Lin and they would have had him making statements saying that he's not the leaker of the videos. That's the very first thing they would have done. You can always tell when we're correct because all the debunkers avoid those topics. Like when we were correct about Gorgon Stare, they all go silent about Gorgon Stare. When we were correct about the fire, they all go silent about the fire. When we were correct about Edward Lin, they all go silent about Edward Lin. Every single time. All these things are like trivial to confirm. Trivial to confirm. Talk to Catherine T. Talk to somebody in the Air Force. Talk to Edward Lin. Talk to his lawyer. Nope. Nobody wants to do any of these things. Nobody wants to confirm any of the verifiable information I've given. I swear we live in a clown world. We live in a clown world. I've done all the work. I've got absolute proof on a silver platter. And I've said all you have to do is the minimum amount of journalistic effort. I've done all the hard work for you. All you have to do is find anybody in the Air Force, literally anyone in the Air Force that's ever seen Gorgon stare, and they'll confirm it. Nope, not going to do that. Not going to do that. Why? Why not? Just don't want to. What? It might change the world forever. It might give us free energy forever. It might give us teleportation forever. You're not going to just talk to somebody. It's a 5-minute phone call. It's a 5-minute phone call. Nope. You're not just going to reach out to the guy that I said leaked the videos. I said, this guy leaked the videos. Just go talk to him. Nope. Not going to do that either. I swear, like, when people wonder why do they get backlash, this is why they get backlash. The evidence is overwhelming, and just plugging your ears and closing your eyes and pretending like it doesn't exist, that's mental illness. You are mentally ill if you can't rationalize how these videos are obviously real. They're obviously real. There's no such thing as fake hoax military videos. There's no such thing as that. Let me repeat this again. There's no such thing as fake hoax military videos. Planes don't crash without leaving a debris field. That's not a thing that happens. Nobody could have known that we would never find the plane to make those videos. And there's no such thing as fake color FLIR footage. There's no such thing as that. The reason why there's no such thing as fake color FLIR video is because no one knew it existed before this. No one even knew it existed before this investigation. One of the first things Debunkers said is there's no such thing as color FLIR. Turns out there is. The amount of mental gymnastics that people have to go through to try to claim the videos are fake is beyond anything I can even imagine. Levi, don't worry, man. I'm literally the debunker antidote. Quinn, when are you gonna put the pressure on Ed? Well, we'll see. This is what I want from Edward Lin. So this is another thing that I realized. I think I have another claim to make. Nobody knows Edward Lin leaked the videos. The people in the VPU2 with Edward Lin, they thought he was leaking stuff to prostitutes. They didn't even know what it was that he leaked. Why has Edward Lin been avoiding me? Because the whole world has no idea what Edward Lin did. He doesn't want to be exposed as having leaked those videos. That's the reason. He's been living his life, and everybody just thought, oh, he was just saying some secrets to prostitutes. They don't realize how serious it was. It was way more serious than what the public was being led to believe. And now Edward Lin's reliving his normal life because it got played off like it was just some small thing that happened. And so he doesn't want to be exposed now because now he's out. Now they've basically wiped the slate clean. And now it's coming out that he was connected to the biggest leak of intelligence in the history of the world. The biggest leak of intelligence, public leak at least, in the history of the world. So of course he's avoiding me. Of course he doesn't want to talk to me. Because I just nailed it. I just found the guy and went, that's the guy that leaked it, and found him. And if you don't know, if you didn't watch yesterday's short live stream, I got confirmation that Edward Lin would have had access to the Gorgon Stare. He would have had access to those videos. In that position, at that time, the things were not locked down to a degree where you only had this small window of access. If you were in those programs, you could kind of see it all. And the story that was being floated to me by my source was that, well, maybe they set him up. maybe they allowed him to go in there because they were already watching him. Because that was the story being told to them, was that they were already watching him. Maybe he was a spy for China, which that we all know that was all fake. So it was interesting to listen to it from the perspective of the source. And it was funny because I almost convinced the source that I was right. Because when I was talking to the source about it, I went, this doesn't make any sense. Like, if Edward Lin, why would they go after him for talking to a prostitute? It doesn't make any sense, you know? And the person was like, yeah, that doesn't, none of this it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I think that how he got it out, here's the new story that I'm thinking of. I think we've figured out what happened. Somebody posed this, that what if somebody reached out to Edward Lin after the plane disappeared, one of his contacts that he trusted, and said, can you help find the plane? Somebody reached out to Edward Lin and said, can you help find the plane? And then he logs into the system. Boom. There it is. And he looks at it and he goes, holy shit. The United States government is covering up that we know what happened to the plane. And he leaks the videos. How he leaked the videos, he brought a laptop. He did it with intent. He had to have had intent. Why? There is no way you're getting data out of a SCIF without intent to leak it out of a SCIF. These SCIFs are like, all the USB ports on the computers are going to be shut off by the BIOS. So he had to have brought a laptop in that the laptop did not have the USB ports shut down. And he used the laptop, unsecured laptop, to access the videos, downloaded it on his USB drive, and walked out of the SCIF with it. Walked out of the SCIF with it. That has to be how he got rid of it. And that's how he got it out. And then here's the thing. We also learned that Edward Lin was caught with flash drives in May, presumably in May, when he was rolled up. So in May of 2014, Edward Lin was rolled up or arrested, however you want to think of it, and they caught him with flight manifests that include search and rescue code names. According to my source, he also had flash drives with him when that happened. And that makes a lot of sense. Because if he had flash drives with him, then that's it, right? They've got all the physical evidence they need. They've got the physical evidence they need. And I think that what he was doing, he was at the airport when he got rolled up, arrested. He was at the airport and he had orders that say he's supposed to go somewhere in the United States, and he was going to like China or something like that. He was going overseas. He was lying about where he was going. So why was he lying about where he was going? What if he was fleeing the country because he took the data and he knew the United States covered up MH370? So you can imagine a situation where Edward Lin realizes the United States is lying about MH370, records the videos, sends them to his source, maybe one of his Taiwanese contacts. They post the videos on the internet. They post them on the internet, Regicide Anon, King Killer. And then Edward Lin tries to flee to China because he knows he's screwed. Why is he fleeing to China? Because he knows he's going to get caught. He knows he's going to get caught. He leaked footage out of a SCIF, and he knew by leaking the stuff out of the SCIF, they were going to catch him. So he said, I'm going to leave. Yes, exactly. He had to know that he was going to get caught. And so he said, I'm going to flee the country. I'm going to go to China. Because he realized, looking at the videos, what was going on. He realized what was going on. And so then he gets arrested, and then the conversation gets really awkward. Also, Lauren, chill with this. This isn't funny or cool anymore. The nerd thing, you've got way better lines than this. Use something better. No disrespect. So then he gets told what he really did. And the government was actually in a pretty sticky situation. The government was in a sticky situation because Edward Lin has extremely damning evidence against the United States government. So the U.S. government had to flip Edward Lin. They had to flip him. Think about this for a second, guys. Edward Lin knows the videos are real. He's got the videos in his hand. They arrest him. They need him to be on their side. If Edward Lin starts talking, they're in big trouble. They need Edward Lin not to go to China, and they need him to stay right here. In fact, there's no way Edward Lin's allowed to leave the country. Edward Lin right now is not allowed to leave the country. No chance in hell. Edward Lin probably can never leave the country for the rest of his life, would be my guess. We don't know his intent. For the people that are asking, I'm speculating. I'm speculating and coming up with a story right now that makes sense given the information that we know. So if Edward Lin was then flipped, he would have been flipped back over and said, you hurt national security. We need you to come out and take this plea deal. And that's what he did. This would explain why he can't talk to me and why he won't talk to me and why he seems to be in the good graces of the people that he leaked their video. If he leaked their video, why is he in these people's good graces? He's in their good graces because he did what they wanted. They said, you're going to flip again, and you're going to admit you did wrong here, and we're going to bring you back into the fold. Awake, not woke. Thank you for that cookie. Appreciate you. As Milk, your persistence and diligence for the truth on ZP matters more than you think. And so this is the next thing that I want to say. I can't say that I'm doing this for MH370 anymore. The reason being, I'm morally conflicted myself in terms of what happened. I think that the government's going to be able to legally show that they were in the right. I'm sure Avril Hines or one of those people, they've got all the legal justifications they needed to do that to the plane. I'm sure they did. And there's no way I'll be able to legally expose that. So we have a good idea of what the real truth is. China, United States, they were messing around. MH370 got in the middle. So what is this about now then? Now that we've got the truth for MH370? Well, to answer that, I went back to the letter to Ashton Forbes. What did the letter to Ashton Forbes want me to do? The letter to Ashton Forbes wanted me to expose the orbs. It wanted me to expose what those orbs are. It wanted me to expose that technology, free energy technology. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to expose free energy technology. We're going to expose that free energy technology because no one told me to stop. The letter told me to keep going. And it's obviously much bigger than MH370. So if you're somebody out there that was worried that I was going to quit or give up or stop talking about free energy, never in a million years. And spoiler, the free energy conspiracy is actually even bigger than the MH370 conspiracy. Way bigger. Way bigger. Benny Hildman says, these people never have any receipts. Please know how much we appreciate what you do and the hate you've been spreading this knowledge. We stand behind you. And yeah, guys, don't worry about it. A lot of people say, hey, check your mental health, take a day or whatever. Guys, I've been on the internet for 30 years or more, ever since the inception of the internet. Internet trolls don't even faze me, not even a little bit. I just was using that to point out the fact that when these other people try to claim that they're being threatened or attacked or whatever other bullshit they make up, that it's all basically nonsense. It's just hypocrisy, and it's a fraction of what their side is doing, a small fraction. Bert, huge donation. Wow, Bert, thank you very much, man. Keep up the great work. I'm excited to be a supporter from day one. I think it's awesome that there are going to be people that can say that they supported this movement, this fringe movement from the very first day, that they were always in it, and that like this movement's at a minimum going to do a massive justice or massive push to get 0 point energy, free energy out faster. You've already seen the influence that we've had. And we have a good chance of literally exposing the whole thing. I mean, I've been staring at the scientific papers that expose it. So what I'll say is this, just for you, Bert, this is for you. I have been invited back on Tim Pool and I'm planning on going on next month. I'm not going to say exactly when we get closer. It will be for 2 hours, not just the 20 minutes. And the plan on the next time with Tim Pool is to go over all the science in the scientific papers and the plasma orbs, everything that's been hidden, and just lay it bare. Explain the science, explain the people, probably go through the DIRDs, the Defense Intelligence Reference Documents, etc. So hope you guys are excited for that. Should be fun. Sam Fisher, what do you think happens to the device inside the orbs? I think the device probably shows up on the other side because it's a physical device inside the objects. I used to think that orbs will just dissipate, but if there's actually something like an engine inside there, then they're probably going to appear on the other side with the plane. But not sure. Good question, Sam. Levi, not to mention the literal science checks out way too much. Yeah, the science being accurate in a way that's like not conventional science is a huge, huge boost to the videos. And I didn't know how long it was going to take to prove that science. So if you're somebody who's new that maybe was just watching Tim Pool today and you're just checking this out, what we found out is the reason why there's this flash of light in the one video is because that's X-rays, or it could be ultraviolet light. And that's because of something where the ground state dips a little bit. Space-time is being manipulated. And when that happens, you get this release of X-rays like we saw. So it turns out what we were seeing in that video is 100% consistent with like real warp drive mechanics, real wormhole physics. So now that the person that would have hoaxed the videos that has to know about Gorgon's stare and whammy capabilities now also has to know about 0-point energy and warp drives and wormholes too. So as you can tell, the prerequisites rule out a lot of people from being someone who could have made the videos. Tiffany Clark, I'm a retired detective and I would be elated if I was putting together a case with this much evidence. Exactly. And to Tiffany's point, the reason why I love this is that I just love the mystery. Like, this case has so much depth to it. And when I found out about the VPU2 thing and Edward Lin, that was like a whole new avenue that I didn't know anything about. And so the whole conversation, I'm just trying to learn, how does the VPU2 operate? I'm trying to imagine, like, are they in a skiff somewhere in a room? Are they on a plane? What are they doing? And that's what I love about this. There's probably never going to be another case like this ever in the history of the world, ever. This is a once-in-a-lifetime type situation that we've got going on here. Private Wonder Woman, thank you for that donation. Idle hands of the devil's playground. Clearly, they have too much time on their hands. And yes, it's obviously a little more than that, too. Part of it is that a lot of people early on, a lot of you guys don't know, but early on, people were going all in on these videos being fake. Like, it felt very inorganic, the way people were saying. Basically, people would ridicule anyone that believed the videos were real. They would ridicule them, blah, blah, blah. And now what's happening is, you know, those people are finding out that they were the ones who were wrong. And now they're realizing, oh, shit, all that stuff I said, that makes me a bad guy. And for a lot of people, they're not willing to accept that they might be the bad guy. And so this is called cognitive dissonance. They invent some other story in their head about, oh, no, I'm not wrong. This person's just evil. It's crazy. And to be clear, I don't think all these people are disinformation agents. In fact, I think the government has to do almost nothing. I think that human condition is the biggest problem. Humans, us, our minds, we are mentally ill. We are easily brainwashed. Humans are. We are the problem. That's the reason why I say it's almost more important that we shock people into waking up than it is that we reveal free energy. We need people to be thinking for themselves instead of just repeating whatever they see on TV. That's what we need. Event Horizon, thank you for that donation. Appreciate you. Man, how do I have so many donos? Elias Foster, Ashton, you made my family think I'm insane because this is the only thing I ever talk about anymore. The debunkers are the ones that actually prove it right, to be honest. The glowies we watch it. It is true. The debunkers have provided us some of the best evidence out there because they will say, why does this do this? This isn't how it's supposed to work. And then we find out it does, usually. What I will say, guys, is you have to be careful. It is exciting to talk about it. What I found with my family is I don't talk about the plane as much. I just talk about like quantum mechanics. Like I'll just talk about the science and I'll be like, oh, this Joe Rogan just had this guy on that was talking about free energy microchip, But my mom actually is like on board now. She knows it's real now. And she's just like, because she's seen behind the scenes. And she's told me several times, my mom did. She had like a sit down with me a couple months ago. And she told me that, like, at the beginning of this, I thought you were like, having a psychological break or something like that. She was like, I just don't, there's just, obviously she couldn't think it was real. But as time has gone on and as she's kind of seen things unfold and as I've shared information with her privately behind the scenes and she's seen everything happen, she's like slowly realizing. She was telling one of her good friends, like, I think my son actually like figured something crazy out, So it's wild, man. It's wild. But yeah, so be careful about how you talk about it with people, because again, I don't want you harassing people out there. And as you see, people have a visceral reaction to this, because when you tell people this is real, it means like their whole lives are a lie. And that's not something people can easily accept. Toth, thank you very much. I don't know what this means. Those are these cryptos? I'm guessing these are cryptos. Thank you, Toth. David R. I wish people would stop claiming the clouds were from photos. The cloud in the videos are not static, and they are 3D, and they move with parallax. Well, that's the difference between facts and, misconstruing things on the internet, right? The clouds clearly move. They're clearly real clouds. They're clearly 3D with parallax. It's actually wild how much people just ignore the reality of the clouds in the videos. Definitely could not have come from two-dimensional static cloud photos, which we don't really need that anymore because it's Gorgon Stare, but yeah. So I encourage you as well, if you're curious, you can just search on my Twitter or go through my highlights, and you should be able to find all the debunks being refuted about 1,000 times over. And the reason why you don't know about them is that the debunkers literally intentionally never address any of the things I say about the debunks, ever. Never once. Never once have they done it. They intentionally don't address it because they don't want to give any attention to the fact that the debunks have no merit. So that's why they don't do it. Meanwhile, I address the debunks like what? Once a week? Probably once a week. So, and people say it must be annoying to address the debunks over and over and over again. Oh, that's what it is. Welcome to information war chat. Levi. He remoted in via AnyDesk, Citrix Team Viewer. That explains the size of the plane and the shrinking. No, it's not the matter of the size of the plane. That's all a matter of the whammy. The whammy capability is what's zooming in on it. It is technically a remote terminal session, but the remote terminal session is going to be because of the way the footage is working, right? So it might not even necessarily be Citrix, but it probably is. In fact, it almost certainly is. But it's still the same idea either way. OMG. Thank you, Jay Varga. Ross will be at contact. What would you do if you come face? Oh, I'm going to come face to face with Ross. I'm not going to attack him or anything. I'm just going to ask to talk to him. I mean, he'll probably say no, and I imagine he'll be super awkward, and he'll probably try to avoid me or whatever, but whatever. My plan when I go is to try to talk to the people that I see there and have a normal conversation with them and maybe try to get them off this ledge they're on, but who cares? Levi, to clarify, I mean, he remoted in, used a USB port on his own PC. Yes. You can file transfer this way to bypass the USB. This is exactly what I think happened. Yeah. So he was on a laptop in the skiff connected to the local network, and that's how he got around the USB thing. The reason why I'm confident about this, even though obviously it's speculative, is it's the only way. It's like the only way that he could have gotten it off the network. It turns out these skiffs, as I've learned more about these skiffs, like you are not getting stuff out of there without like intentionally trying really hard to get it out. Event Horizon, thank you for that follow-up donation. Benny Hillman, the debunkers never have the receipts for all their hate and all their made-up slander. Yeah, that's also weird, guys. Don't give these guys a pass if they're not going to share what it is. Like, if somebody's harassing me, the first thing I do is just share it publicly. So when they're, like, trying to paint themselves as victims and they won't share the conversation, good chance they're leaving out another half of the conversation. Like, they were probably going back and forth in an argument with somebody, and then they lost the argument and decided to play the victim. That's my guess. Wow, Jirachi. I think Jiraki. There are paid accounts on Reddit whose jobs are to dissuade anyone from believing the videos are real. They have nothing on their profile other than attempts at promoting fake debunks. That's why I'm convinced they're real. This is true. In fact, a lot of those accounts you'll actually find were created when the videos were reemerged on Reddit. You'll find that they were all created between 2023, August 2023, and like July of 2024. So these people made a bunch of fake accounts. And the reason why they did that is they didn't want what they were doing on Reddit to be tied back to their real names and their real personas and their real accounts. In fact, one of those Reddit accounts is almost certainly Grant Lavant. Almost certainly. Do you guys think Grant Lavant is attacking me like this without being one of those Redditors? No, he's definitely one of the Redditors. All those guys are the Redditors. The reason why these guys are all flipping out is because these guys are the anonymous Redditors. Those accounts, those anonymous accounts, Reddit accounts, those are all these people attacking me. Like, that's them. So I don't think they're necessarily paid. They're pot committed, as we say in poker. Meaning they've gone all in on the videos being fake, and now they know their lives are over if it turns out to be real, and they don't have the, fortitude to admit that they were wrong. Which, to me, if I was wrong about something, I would just say, I was wrong, I'm sorry. I wouldn't just keep doubling down on it forever. And then my Japanese friend, my Japanese is getting pretty bad. I used to actually be able to read Japanese, but thank you for that huge donation the other night, by the way. I think that was you who gave it right when I was closing down. That's the real lesson here. People need to grow up for themselves and stop being dumb. That's really what this is about. Let's play another Tim Pool clip. Let's see if I'm unbanned yet. Nope, still banned. Wait, let's check. Oh, your account is now restored to full functionality. Yes! Oh, shit. We are back, chat. We are back. Oh, yes. Retweet. Let's get these retweets rolling. Here we go. Oh, yes. Chat, I hope you're excited. Oh, wait, am I revealing anything? No, okay. Okay, let's watch some Tim Pool, chat. The reason why I wanted to talk to you is that you had said that you had a source that told you that we have faster than light communication.
Yep.
And if those videos were real, which now I know for sure they are, then I knew that must be real as well. And that's the exact same science that is on display in those videos. Quantum tunneling, faster than light communication, we're seeing that just scaled up in the video.
So for those that are not familiar, just to make sure we give you guys proper context, MH370, of course, that was a Malaysian airliner, went missing.
Yep. So MH370, Malaysian airliner disappears March 8th, 2014. Never seen again. We get a few pieces of debris wash up in Africa. Everybody admits there must be some cover up going on. Planes can't just disappear. Planes should leave a massive debris field if it crashes into the ocean. And it's taken me 2 years to figure out what really happened. And now I think I'm fairly confident that what it was not just a simple covert operation. It was a counter-espionage operation. The people responsible for MH370 is China. China was trying to steal our technology, and the CIA in the United States said that's not going to happen. And you say, well, that's kind of crazy. They would target a civilian airliner for something like that. Well, welcome to the price that it takes to keep us safe in America. Damn, that clip is fire, chat. Wow. Damn, we got some good clips today. So yes, and a lot of people were kind of coming at me for that take, saying that, well, are you saying that the United States isn't evil? Are you saying the United States doesn't do evil stuff? You're now saying that China did it? No. United States does super evil shit. They're hiding free energy from us. They're hiding free energy and teleportation, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily the only responsible party in MH370. The United States didn't just decide one day, oh, we're going to go and target a Boeing 777 for no reason. Hey, look, here's a plane flying out of the sky. Let's go zap it with some orbs. No. If you think that's how this went down, you're being extremely naive. There's no way that Special Forces was like, oh, yeah, civilian airliner. Let's hit it with some orbs. No. This had to be more complicated than just a simple United States targeting it. Now, what this means is that China's the one that they fucked around and they found out. FAFO, chat. That's what happened with China. They FA'd and they FO'd. And that doesn't mean... Now, that means that from the legal perspective, the United States government is probably covered. Like, they probably made sure they had all their legal justifications before they did the zapping. But that doesn't mean that the public would accept it. if that comes out, it's not like the public's going to be like, oh, yeah, we had to teleport a civilian airliner. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain that publicly. So it's in one of those sticky situations where technically they probably have legal justification, but that doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't. The reason why I wanted to talk to you is that you and most people in the public would say, no, it's not right. And that's not even considering the fact that they're hiding free energy technology. I'm just talking about just what they did to the plane from a covert perspective. So just because I'm saying that China is the one that caused the situation does not mean that the United States is somehow the good guys or blameless in this situation. I'm just saying we, as the United States, the stuff that our covert operations have to do to keep us safe would probably make our stomachs turn. In fact, was it my source saying this? I can't remember if my source or somebody else, but we've been talking about the Matt Livelsberger situation again. And apparently there's a lot of rumors about situations like this where we get caught doing morally questionable things, and the people that see it, the military members that see it, try to leak it or try to get it out. It happened with the CIA in 2013. Matt Livelsberger was not just saying that we have gravity propulsion and plasma drones. He was also saying that we did black operations where we killed a bunch of innocent people. We committed like war crimes on people. So a bunch of people have been out there trying to reveal this type of information. Let me see what else I've got here. Now that I've got my clips back. Okay, here's another clip. Oh, wait, no, I don't want that one. Okay. Got the harassment. Okay, here we go. What is it? Timcast? Sorry, I'm trying to find where the clips are at. Oh, there's Timcast News. Here we go. Okay, here's another clip. This clip, where is it? Shit, where is it? Oh, yeah, faster than light communication. Here we go. Wait, somebody community noted this, chat. Wait, let's read the community note first. MH370's 2018 official report found no evidence of China caused the crash. I mean, what is this shit? Are you guys retarded? Dick, like, I dug chat. How am I being community noted on random Timcast clips? That this clip's about quantum communication, and somebody community noted with some shit about MH370 in China. Like, I'm telling you guys, we're breaking people's minds. Like, people's minds are being shattered. It's just wild.
So this is a video of this is research you've had going back to MH370. Were you doing this research before those videos came out?
No, that was just something that when I saw those videos, saw that they seemed to be authentic, I dug into it, researched it. That's when you invited me back on the show back in, I think it was January of 2024. So, and the reason why I wanted to talk to you is that you had said that you had a source that told you that we have faster than light communication.
Yep.
And if those videos were real, which now I know for sure they are, then I knew that must be real as well. And that's the exact same science that is on display in those videos. Quantum tunneling, faster than light communication, we're seeing that just scaled up in the video.
So for those that are not familiar, just to make sure we give you guys proper context, MH370, of course, that was the Malaysian airliner, went missing.
Yep. So MH370, Malaysian airliner disappears March 8th, 2014. Never. Wait, what's going on here? Everybody admits there must be some cover up going on. Planes can't just disappear. Planes should leave a massive debris field if it crashes into the ocean. And it's taken me 2 years to figure out what really happened. And now I think I'm fairly confident that what it was not just a simple covert operation. It was a counter-espionage operation. The person responsible, the people responsible for MH370 is China. China was trying to steal our technology, and the CIA in the United States said that's not going to happen. And you say, well, that's kind of crazy. They would target a civilian airliner for something like that. Well, welcome to the price that it takes to keep us safe in America. Yeah, that clip is fire. Very well said in that clip. Let me see what else I can find here. That's really good. So yeah, that interview was pretty solid. What else did I want to say about the interview? I have my notes up from the interview actually here. Maybe I'll just take a look at those. So quantum tunneling, actually, this is what I was going to show. The thing that got Tim Pool to talk to me, I think, was this clip right here. Let's turn the music off so we don't have to listen to that music. This clip right here. This clip represents Schrodinger's equations, visualized. And when you look at it, it kind of looks like what we would expect the magnetic field lines to look like in the MH370 videos with the orbs spinning around the plane. The one I like, I think, is the second one. This one. I think this is the one. No, the third one. This is the one I like right here. I'll make this full screen for a second. This is the one where I kind of imagine 3 orbs spinning around the plane, producing this bubble. And then you see this bubble kind of stretch out and elongate. And this is exactly what I would imagine is happening with the plane. The orbs are around it. They're creating this bubble. And look at how it expands and elongates. Just like that. That's how I imagine it working, right? The orbs are spinning around it, and now the plane's going to get pulled backwards, just like that, back to the origin point right there. Boom. And it's just like, I think that the more I look into it, the analogy that makes the most sense for teleportation is quantum tunneling. Quantum tunneling. So I have my barrier. My phone is my barrier. And I shoot my electron through a material and it hits the wall. It should hit the wall and not be able to go through it. It hits the wall and a little bit comes through on the other side. That is quantum tunneling. That is quantum tunneling. So how does the plane do that? How does the plane quantum tunnel? So I said this on the Tim Pool podcast. I said that what they're doing is the orbs are reducing the barrier. They're reducing the barrier, just like quantum tunneling. And you say, well, what is the barrier for the airplane? What's the barrier to make the airplane disappear? Space-time is the barrier. Space-time itself is the barrier. And you go, Ashton, space-time is the barrier? What does that mean, though? Like, how do you manipulate space-time to change the barrier? The 0-point energy. So we are on an ocean of energy. We call it space-time. We're sitting on top of it. We don't see it, but it's there. We interact with it. If we change this energy level, we change space-time. We actually change the physical properties of space-time. Let me repeat that. When we change this default energy level that we're sitting in all the time, you change the properties of space and time. Therefore, you manipulate space and time. And how do you do this? Well, the Casimir effect. Put the plates together. That allows you to manipulate space and time. The other way to manipulate space and time is to add energy to a region. Just add more energy. If you add energy, things will be attracted towards it, right? Yes, of course. So Miguel Alcubierre's warp drive metric says that you need to make a wave, and you're going to ride that wave, right? You're going to ride the wave. You don't need compression and you don't need to compress space-time and expand space-time. One or the other will work. How do you compress space-time? You compress space-time by adding a bunch of energy there. So you add a bunch of energy, you compress space-time, that pulls you forward. So if I have some energy in front of me, it'll just pull me forward. That's what these orbs are doing in this video. So if you're new, you're about to have your mind blown. Ready? Here you go. That's what these orbs are doing in this video. They're producing positive energy in front of them that pulls them forward. They produce that energy by literally ripping the molecules out of the air. I could be wrong. It could still be negative energy, but I think they're just using positive energy to create negative energy effects. Positive energy to create negative energy effects. Look at the black lines in front of the orbs, pulling them forward. You can clearly see it. These orbs have achieved perfect efficiency. Perfect efficiency. So, the last thing I want to recap on the Tim Pool is the perfect efficiency. Where is it? Is this one it? Yeah, here it is. And I didn't even get to read the best part on Tim Pool today, guys. So get ready. At least, wait. Oh, yeah, here it is. Yeah. Share screen. This one. Memorize these names, specifically Franklin B. Meade and George H. Riley. These two guys are two of the top people who were working at the Air Force Research Labs before they passed away. I think they're both dead now. And they were working and they were figuring out all this stuff in the 2000s. They were figuring all this stuff out in the 2000s. So these plasma orbs, look at the efficiency levels of the plasma orbs. 0.9, where is it? It says right here, the efficiency of thrust was 90%. And then down here, it says thruster efficiency was actually 90% to 100%. 90 to 100% thruster efficiency. What does that mean? What does 100% thruster efficiency mean? To me, 100% thruster efficiency means it doesn't use any energy. It's perfectly efficient. People are asking about Michio Kaku for some reason in the chat. I mean, Michio Kaku, you know, he's like all the other academics. He's smart. He's actually one of my heroes as a guy who likes physics. But we're just way beyond all the mainstream people at this point. We're so far beyond the mainstream physics people that it's actually just kind of sad. Like, we're light years beyond them. Have any of them read any of these papers or understood them? No, of course not. Not only does it show near perfect efficiency right here, it also shows the Q factor was varied from 3 to 6. This is better than fusion. This is better than fusion, and this is from 2006. This is from 2006, and this is better than our wildest hopes for fusion right now. Q factor of 3 to 6? Did people not know what these words mean? Sometimes I feel like people just don't know what the words mean. Q factor means this is producing 3 to 6 times the amount of energy that it inputs. It's outputting 3 to 6 times the amount of energy that it inputs. And if you would say, oh, well, it's just a small amount of energy. No, it's gigawatts. Gigawatts of excess power. These plasma orbs are producing gigawatts of excess power. Okay, this is the part that I forgot to read on Tim Pool. What do you do with all this excess energy? Oh, well, they've got some thoughts on that too. What do you do with all this? You can use it for communication systems, like quantum communication systems, like Hal Puthoff. You can use it for pulse-trained plasmoid weapons. What the hell is a pulse-trained plasmoid weapons? I don't even know what that means. Ultra high powered lasers, aka coherent matter wave beams, potentially. So they can produce super high powered lasers and Just says it. Gravity devices. Gravity devices. That just says gravity devices right there. One thing I can't quite understand when I read these is, how am I the guy revealing this? How has nobody gone through these papers and been like, what are they talking about here? This looks straight up magical. This is the orbs. This is the orbs right here. We're looking at it. I was wrong initially. I was blaming the Navy for all this. It wasn't the Navy. It's the U.S. Air Force. The U.S. Air Force is the one that's been connected to the UFO phenomenon. They're the ones that have been doing all this research. They're the gatekeepers of all this shit. They're the ones whose Gorgon stare footage it is. Air Force knows exactly what's going on with this shit. And the only reason for all the spooks out there who are watching right now, the only reason why I'm going all in on this is because China's already figured it out. If I thought China hadn't figured it out, I wasn't going to talk about it. You guys can even go back to my old streams a couple weeks ago where I said, I'm probably not going to talk about how the orbs work. I don't feel comfortable about it. Truth is, I don't feel comfortable. It makes me sick to even talk about this because it's absolutely a national security issue. But the videos leaked 10 years ago and China's figured it out. They're working on their own orbs. So keep in mind how powerful this weapon is. These orbs are free energy. They can apparently teleport things. So our future is about to look really damn crazy. Really damn crazy. This is my favorite paper, and I randomly came across it while I was searching for air-breathing magnetohydrodynamics. Now, look at this at the bottom. Some people will say, well, this isn't going to be ready. There's no way they could possibly have this. They were just writing about that because it was so long in the future. That was 2006 they wrote that paper. Wait, what does this say right down here? Such high thrust, high I system with high power generation capability would allow military versatility in suborbital space as early as 2025. That's today, chat. That's now. That says right there they could have it by 2025. Well, turns out they had it like 10 years before that minimum. They had it at least in 2014. Pretty wild. Now, just because some of you guys might be new and from Tim Pool, I want to show this as well. I'm not messing around when I say Eric W. Davis is the guy that people need to talk about. Tim Pool brought up Eric Davis and said he's the guy that said there were 4 alien races. Guys, these are Eric W. Davis's own. This is him. This is his website right here. You're looking at Eric W. Davis's own website on Earth Tech. None of these papers have anything to do with aliens. There's not one paper here about how many 15 kinds of aliens there are. In fact, I don't think the words, oh wait, maybe I'm wrong. The extraterrestrial hypothesis. You know what? I might be wrong. This one might be about aliens. That one's probably about aliens. It's a good bet. That one's about aliens. Point being, all these papers are about science. Quantum tomography of negative energy states in the vacuum. This is basically trying to figure out how to make a wormhole with negative energy. That's like trying to make a wormhole with negative energy. Laser lightcraft nanosatellites. This is how they produce the high-powered lasers. Warp drives, extracting energy from the quantum vacuum, anti-gravity for aerospace applications, traversable wormholes, studies to determine the effects and cost-effectiveness of laser-propelled lightcraft, military aerospace applications, breakthrough features, advanced propulsion study, teleportation physics study. Guys, teleportation physics study. Duh. And then, of course, ball lightning study. I'm about almost as confident that Eric W. Davis is the guy that figured out the teleportation as I am that Edward C. Lin leaked the videos. There just is nobody else on the face of this planet who has a resume like this. There is nobody else. In fact, I don't think there's anybody else even close to Eric W. Davis's resume. Like, not even in the same ballpark. And I'm just going, he has to be the guy that figured out teleportation. Who else could it be? He was working with Frank Mead. Oh, and here's the best part. All those papers, teleportation physics study, ball lightning study, anti-gravity, guess who co-authored or who signed off on them, who the project manager was for all those papers? Franklin Mead. Where's the mic? Drop the mic, chat. Franklin Mead was connected to all this shit. It's so clear that Frank Mead was basically hiring Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, etc., to figure out all the orbs. They knew teleportation worked, and they wanted to figure out how all the teleportation worked. Now, this is me highly speculating, is that I think that how this played out is the Air Force got some UFO shit, some flying saucer or something they dug up, and they were trying to figure out how it worked. And so they knew teleportation was possible, and they reverse engineered it to figure out how they could make their own version of it. And that's why they brought in people like Eric W. Davis, because they needed someone who could figure out the physical mechanism which allowed these craft to operate. And they figured it out. So if I'm right, what this means is they really did find some UFOs, and they have been working on reverse engineering it. And somewhere around the 90s or 2000s, it just they had a major breakthrough, and they just figured it all out. They figured it all out, and now, who knows? Now there's other alternatives, including the ETs are working with the government and whatever. I don't know. Shit, I really have no idea. But I'm just throwing that out there. Eric Davis, man, this guy. Yeah, technically, for the people I see in the Rumble chat, you might actually know more than physics professors at this point. No joke. You might actually know more than they do at this point. Just because of the fact that so many people have been brainwashed into thinking that 0-point energy is some insignificant thing. Which the thing that surprised me the most when I started researching 0-point energy was that Richard Feynman, one of the most revered physicists of all time, possibly the most revered American physicist of all time, other than maybe Einstein, Schrodinger, and a couple others. Richard Feynman said the 0-point energy is practically infinite. Richard Feynman said there's enough energy in the empty space of this coffee cup to vaporize all the Earth's oceans. Think about how much energy that would require to vaporize all the Earth's oceans. There's enough energy in the empty space of this coffee cup. Empty space of this coffee cup. Richard Feynman 100% believed in 0-point energy. That's why he won the Nobel Prize for quantum electrodynamics in 1965 with Julian Schwinger. Because Schwinger knew that there was a way to interact with this 0-point energy. And that's why he came up with something called the Schwinger limit. The Schwinger limit is how much energy you can add to space-time before you get non-linear effects, before you get a situation where space-time itself breaks down. Space-time breaks down. And this is the basis for Salvatore Pais, the U.S. Navy engineer, his patent, high-energy electromagnetic field generator. I'll say it again. Dr. Salvatore Pais, U.S. Navy engineer, high-energy electromagnetic field generator. The idea of this is to produce so much electromagnetic flux, like a super powerful EMP, that it actually changes and manipulates space-time. Pretty cool. It requires a massive, massive energy level to be able to pull that off. So shout out to Sal, shout out to the Super Force, shout out to the Pais effect. And I also want to shout out Dr. Weipeng Yu from NASA, because he's convinced me that we can simplify it even more we can simplify it just down to magnetism. Everything is just magnetism. Everything is. Spin and magnetism. I think that you can essentially solve all of physics with just those two concepts. And it was awesome to talk to Dr. Yu because he made me realize the electric field and the magnetic field have a duality to them. There's a duality to them. So they're related. They're connected. And that means we can potentially describe everything with just one or the other. We don't necessarily need both. Although both clearly exist, I just mean from a fundamental perspective of the universe. And thank you, Crypto Bernie, for that shout out in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Okay, let's hit up a few more donos, and let's see if we're going to call after this. Tiffany Clark, forgot to ask if you saw retired General Steve Quast on Sean Ryan a few days ago, talking about how free energy is possible. Yes, I remember watching that. So, yes, and I've spoken about him as well. That was wild that he was on Sean Ryan. And it was interesting because Steve Quast knows that free energy is real, but he also knows that he has to talk in normie type terms. And that's the reason why you see him saying stuff that doesn't make any sense. Like, I think Elon even replied. Elon replied and said it's not possible to beam energy from space. And Elon is correct, but the problem is Elon's view of physics is not correct. So if Elon's view of physics was correct, he would be right. There is no way to beam energy from outer space to the ground. It's too far. Outer space, low Earth orbit is about 1,000 kilometers, guys. 1,000. 1,000 kilometers. That is way too far to beam energy under a conventional view of physics. But in the 0 point view of physics, there is no limitation to how far you can beam energy. You can teleport energy over any distance. And that's what Steve Quast is saying. Steve Quast didn't misspeak because he's spoken and said this many times. He's repeatedly said we can beam energy from outer space. That requires a different understanding of the universe. No question, no doubt. I'm a big fan of Steve Quast. I did not really like that interview because I thought he should have just said it how it is and he should have stuck to his guns instead of trying to do this crap where they dance around the wording and dance around. He should have just said, we have free energy. We've had free energy. We can beam energy through space. We can teleport things. He should have just said it. Guido, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I've already spoken to Eric Hecker. Check out the Hard Truths podcast. You can find it in the podcast list. I spoke to Eric Hecker. The big revelation from Eric Hecker was that they have helium-3 being stored in Antarctica. And from that, I made the assumption and speculated that they have a gravity wave, a superconductive gravity wave transmitter in Antarctica. In fact, I think that ice cube neutrino detector is probably actually a gravity wave transmitter. Job Martinez. Yeah, that community note. Yikes. That community note. I've got the craziest ones. Levi, Eric Davis clip shows space is physical mathematically. Exactly. And gravity is a pressure on these quantum fluctuations. So this is actually, this is the best clip of Eric Davis. And the problem is people don't understand what I'm about to post. But this Eric Davis clip I'm about to post right here is everything that you need to know.
We already know, and a lot of other physicists know, that Einstein proved that gravity is not a fundamental force of nature. It emerges from the fabric of space-time when it's distorted or curved or bent. And Sakharov, he believed that the metric elasticity of space, described by the space-time metric, which is just a very simple equation, actually. And he said that should come from the quantum vacuum fluctuations, because he sees the quantum vacuum fluctuations as being the seed of all existence. And he was right. Basically, that started from Richard Feynman when he got the Nobel Prize for...
Sorry, chat. What was I saying? Richard Feynman? Oh, and by the way, go ahead and watch my Hodgkin's podcast, which predates this Eric Davis clip. And I was saying that Sakharov was the one that figured it out. I even said it on Candace Owens. I said on Candace Owens, Sakharov's the one that figured out 0 point energy, 1967. Sakharov figured it out. Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, these other guys took Sakharov's view and just built upon it. Sakharov was right. The 0 point energy is the scaffolding of our space-time. It's the scaffolding of our space-time, and the 0-point energy, the relative density of 0-point energy, is what causes the gradient we know as gravity. That's what causes the gradient we know as gravity.
With quantum electrodynamics theory, gravity is not a force of nature. It emerges from space-time phenomenon, the space-time manifold or the continuum, or however you want to describe it. And it's a coupling constant measures the strength of the interaction force between particles. The coupling constant in general relativity is the universal gravitational constant times 8 pi divided by the speed of light to the 4th power. You know what the units of that are? 1 over force. 1 over newtons.
That's right.
And that's a coupling constant to convert the dimensional units of the stress energy tensor, which is the source of space-time curvature. That's in units of joules per cubic meter, or energy density, or pressure, because an equivalent is newtons per square meter.
Right there, he just proved that gravity is a pressure force. Gravity is a pressure force based on how much 0-point energy you have. If you have a lot of 0-point energy right here, and you have a little bit of 0-point energy over here, then everything's going to flow this way. That's what gravity is. And so what would be a lot of 0-point energy? Like the Earth. The Earth is not just the 0-point energy, but it's also this massive amount of energy. So 0-point energy actually explains gravity perfectly. Perfectly explains gravity, not as an independent force, but as a side effect of the mass and energy that exists in a region of space-time. That's the reason why you feel this pull one way or another. So if that's true, then how do you manipulate gravity? How do you manipulate gravity, chat? Simple. You add more energy to any region of space-time. If you add more energy to a region of space-time, you will begin to flow in that direction. That's it. The reality is you just need a lot of energy. But if you do that, then you can flow in any different direction you want to go. The energy density. And what is energy density? Energy density isn't just a big amount of energy. It's the amount of energy you can fit into a small space. There's 2 ways to achieve high energy density, 2 different ways. 1, make a huge amount of energy from your laser beam. The second way is fit that energy into a little box. Make your box really, really small. The smaller you make your box, the more your energy density is. So you make it more dense. Make your box small or increase your output. This is why people should probably taking a look at Chance Glenn, when he was talking about this. Chance Glenn explained it extremely well. In fact, do I have the clip of that? I do. Here we go. I think this is it.
I call du dt, where u is the energy density. The change in the energy density, I believe, is what initiates a gravitational wave that emanates from the center.
So that makes perfect sense. Why? Because the difference is what causes the slope. If I have more energy over here and less energy over here, you're going to have this slope towards more energy. But what causes the ripple? What causes the ripple in the water? It's the change that causes the ripple in the water. The ripple in the water happens because you throw a rock into the water. Throw the rock into the water and you see the ripples. So how do you create a gravitational ripple? You change the energy density. You add energy or remove energy from the region. If you do that, you're going to create a ripple. There you go. How do you make a gravity wave, chat? Now everybody, all of my followers know how to make a gravity wave. How do you make a gravity wave? Pulse. Pulse. A powerful discharge of energy. Pulse it. Why are you pulsing it? Because you want the energy density to fluctuate. You want the energy density to go up and down. So you pulse your energy. You keep adding it. Pulse that energy in and you're going to get a gravitational ripple out on the other side. That's how you produce a high-frequency, lab-generated gravitational wave. High-frequency gravitational waves. I want to close this back out, loop this back around for you. There's a man who won the Lifetime Achievement Award for high frequency gravitational waves, and he's a relatively unknown guy. His name was Robert M.L. Baker, also known as Bob Baker. He worked for Lockheed Martin, and I think he was in the Skunk Works. He won a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2011 for his many, many papers on high-frequency gravitational waves. And several of those papers were co-authored with a man named Gary Stevenson. Gary Stevenson. He's another engineer. And the reason why I bring this up is that I want to show this clip that's relatively recent of Gary, because I had remembered his name from reading those scientific papers. I thought, oh, you know, I just recognize the names, and I recognized reading one of Bob Baker's gravity wave papers, and I thought, oh, Gary Stevenson. And then I was seeing him, watching him on, I think it was an APEC conference where I saw this clip.
Great demand, and also it came to light through conversations with Dave Rossi that there may also be other people wanting to work on Josephson Junction type communication equipment. For instance, Hal Puthoff's name came up as possibly working in this area. And so when we, for instance, approached Star Cryogenics with this notion, they said, I'm sorry, but we're already committed to another design team. So
wow. Does everybody know everybody behind the scenes? Like, I'm starting to feel like this is a very small niche group of people, because now I just connected Robert M.L. Baker to Gary Stevenson to Dave Rossi to Hal Puthoff. And Hal Puthoff, after this clip, Hal Puthoff was on Joe Rogan saying that he's now getting back involved in the quantum communication game. I mean, what? Do I have the clip of Hal Puthoff on the quantum communication thing? Let me see. I don't have that clip handy. Wait, maybe I do. Yeah. Oh, yeah, here it is. I think I have it. For the people asking in the chat, yes, it goes straight through walls. It can go through plasma. It can go through everything. The 0-point energy is the fabric of space-time. Therefore, you can use this quantum communication through literally everything, even solid matter. And this right here explains it. The effect that Hal Puthoff just talked about is the Aharonov-Bohm effect, the AB effect. The Aharonov-Bohm effect shows there really is this medium that is carrying potentials through it, like this ocean of energy, carrying these potentials through it, these ripples, and we don't see them. We can't see them. Physically, they have no electromagnetic carrier wave that we can detect, but they are there, like ripples in the ocean, invisible ripples in the ocean. That's what Hal Puthoff's saying here. And how they do it is they use something called Josephson junctions. The guy, Brian Josephson, won a Nobel Prize. He basically found out that if you make this Josephson junction, you can create this quantum effect, this quantum tunneling. It's actually a quantum tunneling that occurs. And this quantum tunneling can be used to detect these quantum signatures. So you set up a signal detector and you set up a receiver. Just like I was saying on Tim Pool earlier this morning. You set up this quantum detector on both sides, and now you've created a Morse code system. You've created a Morse code system where you can send communications, uncrackable communications. Quantum communications. Pretty wild. Let's I'm gonna go back to this first and we'll go back to the other one. Oh wait, hold on. So he talks about plasma right there. Somebody wanted this. Scrape data, black hole data. See if there are two different wildly sized masses. The same with gravity. I do think that there is probably cosmological proof that 0-point energy is correct, but I just don't know where to look for it. Maybe it's black holes, maybe not. We'll find out. So Hal Puthoff here, definitely, I think Hal Puthoff's the guy that invented the quantum communication system for the government. I think he invented it in the 90s, and I think he made his own patent. And I think the reason why he had to stop his own patent is because the material science in the public sector was not up to par yet. And the public sector microchips were not up to par in the 90s. The private ones probably were. And now it's been 25 or 30 years. And now Hal Puthoff's going, I know this quantum communication system works. I already built it for the military back in the 90s. Now, publicly, the technology's caught up. Now he can sell it publicly and make a bunch of money. That's what I think's going on right here. Yeah, he's got millions of NDAs. The amount of NDAs that Hal Puthoff has, ridiculous. Guy's filled with NDAs. And he said he's going to go to his deathbed without revealing anything. So don't even think about that. Let's switch back to this other clip real quick.
What happened, these pulses are, and I can control the modulation, meaning the repetition rate of the pulses, control that, and you see the spark, the interference fringes moving in relation to the change of the energy density, not necessarily its static presence, but the initiation of it. That's when you see the fringes move. And I think
it's pretty cool that he talks about in the experiment, it's definitely the change of energy density which seems to give the effect that they were seeing with this gravitational ripple. I just think that's pretty neat. One thing I want to address here as well, and this isn't to call my buddy Bernie out. I think a lot of people have said this. I get a lot of people saying, oh, I figured this stuff out. You probably have. You probably have figured it out, but your life's not in danger. A lot of people have figured it out. A lot of people have figured it out. And the reason why your life's not in danger is just figuring it out isn't enough. You're not going to get anybody to mess with you until you start building it. They don't even have to mess with you until you start building it. When you start building it and starting commercializing it, that's where you're going to start having weird things start happening. People are going to start wanting to connect to you and become your business partner and what have you. So the reality is, for people out there, don't come looking to me to say, oh, I've figured it all out. You need to protect me. You need to promote me. That's not going to happen. No offense. I do hope this information does help people to solve this stuff. And for some of you out there to build stuff and help move this forward. I'm not out here claiming to build all this stuff and solve everything. I'm just giving you guys the information so that the entrepreneurial, intelligent people, you guys out there, can get this out there faster, ideally. And the reality is there's money to be made here. Lots of money to be made here. These devices, this technology is limitless in its applications. If I were you guys, I would be trying to figure out the simplest, cheapest way to commercialize an aspect of this technology. Either medical healing, transportation, energy, some small aspect. Don't try to solve everything at once. Just find some small angle. Start a business. Build something. Right? Like I did last time when I showed Joe Rogan stuff. But what he's saying is we can create a scalar wave. People saying, oh, how do you make a scalar beam that has no electromagnetic component? Phase conjugation, guys. Phase conjugation. Bloop. Have two waves 180 degrees out of phase. What happens? They cancel each other out. All you need is a radar, and a metamaterial crystal, like I think it's barium titanate or something like that. I don't know, whatever. Some crystal in front of your radar and shoot a beam out. That's all you need, and you will shoot a electromagnetic scalar pulse that has no electromagnetic longitudinal component, no wave. So the transmitting of it is easy. Any radar with the right metamaterial, and that's it. The hard part is the receiving side of it. That's the hard part. How do you detect something when there's nothing there? How do you detect something when there's nothing there? And what's the answer to that, chat? What's the answer to how do you detect something that isn't there?
Great demand, and also it came to light through conversations with Dave Rossi that there may also be other people wanting to work on justice injunction type communication equipment. For instance, Hal Puthoff's name came up.
That's how you make a microchip with a Josephson junction on it. You make a microchip with a Josephson junction on it, and now you've got your detector. And now all you need to know is what was the signal that you sent. If you tell me the frequency of the signal in which you sent when you did your scalar beam, now I can look for what I'm trying to find on the other side. And now I've created a situation where I can create a Morse code. Beep, 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 beep. And I can communicate. And I can make that go two ways. Guys, we're about to enter an era of free energy microchips and zero latency internet. I think the coolest thing about the quantum internet is going to be zero latency. You'll be able to play video games against people in Korea, and there will be no lag whatsoever. It'll be like you're playing in the same room with them, but they're on the other side of the planet. How insane will that be? That's going to be the coolest shit ever. Imagine how fast pornography will be deleted. How many pornography messages are there here? You guys are dirty. You guys are dirty minded. What is this? First thing everybody thinks is pornography. Hilarious. In fact, I mean, the bigger applications, of course, are we can control a rover on Mars. We can control a rover on Mars in real time. Like you're watching the video screen of the Mars rover and you're moving it around in real time, but that shouldn't actually be possible. That's going to be awesome. Absolutely awesome. And the part that I didn't get to talk about on Tim Pool, but when I go back and talk to him, I will expand upon, is the quantum communication DIRD that literally has in it a way where you can set up a real quantum communication closed network that does not violate retrocausality. It does not communicate back in time. So they've already got that figured out. And that's probably what Tim Pool knew about. Okay, guys, I think we're going to wind it down there. Thank you guys very much for hanging out on this live stream tonight. I hope to see you guys at Contact in the Desert this weekend. I'll be there from tomorrow through Sunday. I'm leaving early on Sunday. I'll be hanging out. I'll be chatting. I'll be drinking. I'll be recording, doing all those things. No live stream on Friday. We'll be back on Monday. I'll try to get you guys some more content over the weekend. Thank you guys, MH370X. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for getting the information out there. And remember, guys, let's be kind as we can possibly be to the honest people that are out there that are just looking for the answers. There are people out there just looking for the answers. And let's show them what kind of community we are. And let's just be that awesome community that I know we all are, guys. Thank you, MH370X. You guys are the best. Let me do a few last donos here. I forgot. We got some more donos to do. Okay, we already did that one. Valhalla, thank you for that donation, brother. Levi, thank you, man. Appreciate you. And then Destiny Rocks. I have learned so much from you and your research. ZPE is the fabric of space-time. Isn't it just so easy, too? ZPE is the fabric of space-time. It just makes so much sense. The thing that we forgot about is that Einstein told us we've got this thing called space-time. We just never asked the question, what is it made of? What is the space-time made of? It's obviously not just an empty vacuum. It has to be something. And one more clip, just because that reminded me of something. And here is one of my favorites of Leonard Susskind getting questioned about it. I think this is it.
Understanding, if you remove matter and you remove radiation, what causes the electric fields? Like, what's the perturbation and what?
I can't answer what causes it. I can tell you that the uncertainty principle requires it to be there.
But we're making the assumption there is no electric field, there is no mass. I thought you...
Did I say there's no electric field?
So de Sitter space has only the dark energy. Or
right.
Okay.
It has no real photons. It has only the 0-point energy.
Okay.
What did he just say, chat? The de Sitter space has only the 0-point energy. I can't explain what it is, the dark energy, but it has to be there due to quantum mechanics. Space-time is made up of 0-point energy. Yes, chat, we can manipulate time and space. It is true. MH270X, peace out. I love y'all. Later, everybody.
the skies are wide. Talking about a journey through the cosmic ride. Einstein and Thorne, they set the stage for a trip through time across the space age. Wormholes connect distant points in space. Traversable paths to a far-off place. No black holes pull, no crushing weight. Just a cosmic tunnel to a distant gate. Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. Exotic matter, negative energy's the key to stabilize the wormhole for you and me. Quantum vacuum squeezed so tight, creating conditions for this wondrous flight. Static fields and lasers in the lab they play, generating forces in a new kind of way. Gravitational squeezing, Casimir's force, negative zones we need to stay the course. Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. Thin shell formalism plates so fine. Spherical geometry we realign. Energy conditions that we must defy. For a stable wormhole, let's give it a try. Forces balancing the plate, creating the throat, open the gates, from Earth to the stars in a single bound, a shortcut through space profound. Engineers and dreamers hold the key to future worlds and what we could be. With science in hand, we forge ahead through the cosmic paths that we now tread. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy. Travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. From the fields to the stars, we break the chains. Understanding the universe, we make the gains. Lil Hula Crunk shines, bringing truth to light. Through his music, we'll explore the night. With wormholes and stargates, our path is clear. Exploring the cosmos.